You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 279. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
I'm your super co-host, Jeff Barnhart.
Comic Reflections is brought to you by The Outhouse. You can find our show and other nifty content at theouthousers.com. And if you enjoy this program, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher.
All right.
So, Jeff, before we talk about our book we have today, I want to congratulate the winner of our October drawing, Joe Crawford. I'll be sending out those books to you post-haste. You may even get them by the time this episode drops.
Yay.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Yeah. So, today we have a reprint book to talk about. It's DC Special number 21, cover dated April and May of 1976. But according to Mike's Amazing World of Comics, it hit the stands on January 8th, 1976. And, we've got a selection of 4 silver and, well, I think there's one Golden Age story in here as well. But it's right in our wheelhouse of fun.
Okay.
So let's dig in. This issue is a special. It's War Against the Monsters. So every story in this has monsters.
Yay.
Yay!
And it's kind of a Marvel thing, but DC does monsters good sometimes too.
Yeah, I mean, they had to do like a special issue, like what's some good stories with monsters, as opposed to Marvel, who we think of they're like late 50s, early 60s, like just tons of atomic or space giant monsters.
Karg, the walking sponge or something.
Yeah, tons of that stuff. Oh, remember that issue of Challenges of the Unknown where they fought the Sponge Man? We got that one.
No, I don't.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
But anywho, yeah. DC do some monsters too.
Yeah.
And this is pretty fun. The lead story in this issue is called The Legion of Super Creatures. And it's was originally presented in Action Comics number 326 from July of 1965. Written by Otto Binder, penciled by Kurt Swan, and inked by George Klein. And of course, this is a Superman story.
Yay.
And this is like, yes, all the right people that I want are on this. Otto Binder, Kurt Swan, inked by George Klein. Yes.
Yeah. All right, the splash panel has Superman being attacked by an army of space cockroaches.
Yeah, and they look cool, and he's just being overrun with them. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, and they're leaving all this destruction behind. It looks like Hiroshima. So, great. All right, let's get into the story. Oh, Lois Lane makes me so mad.
She's such a shrew.
She, as sometimes, that's Superman's kind of mean to her, but Lois deserves everything she gets. Really, they're at the lake.
She and Clark are at the lake.
Yeah.
Why they're vacationing together is beyond me.
Right.
Because at this point, she's like, Clark, what a dud.
Yeah, it says, enjoying yourself, Lois? Clark says, not half as much as I would if Superman were with me, Clark. Dude, you're crying out loud.
Yeah. She's so crappy to him, but, I mean, it's the formula.
Yeah, right. And it still amazes me sometimes.
Yeah.
Years I've been reading this, but wow. All right, so they're water skiing, and I love this. Little does Lois know that she is with Superman, and how my super suit is hidden among the motorboat we hired in case I need it. Which I love that because he's wearing swim trunks.
Yeah.
Couldn't he put it in the swim trunks? The swim trunks have pockets.
Well, yeah, and you know how he'll, like, super compact it into the cape and put it somewhere, like, sometimes. We've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
But, whatever.
Yeah. So somebody comes up another boat saying, we saw a sea monster, a sea serpent. And so Lois says, I'll get out of here. Oh, we ran out of gas or something. So the boat, so she jumps out and swims. Clark, who is really Superman.
Really?
Yeah. Uses his super breath and blows the boat on so he keeps skiing. And so Lois thinks, it must just conked out. It must still have gas in it.
So he gets some distance between them, and then he switches to Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes and fights the sea monster.
Yeah, which is... They're cool, but DC monsters are never that scary, but they're kind of cool.
But they'll be pretty wild looking. I like them. I don't need a scare. I'm just like, give me something that visually is neat.
Now this is a sea rattlesnake, and
oh yeah,
which is amazing. It's got 3 fangs instead of 2.
I love but like 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
It even has a dimple in the lower jaw where the other fang goes, which is kind of someone is thinking about how to draw this.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt Swan must have had fun with this.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's a surprise. Superman gets his butt kicked. He can't do anything against it.
Oh, man, that sucks.
So, and he fights, and he's about, he's about to die, and he saves himself, and then he doesn't know what to do. So, hey, I guess we better close this lake to tourists. Yeah, okay.
It's so weird to read a story where Superman fails.
Yeah, it's kind of cool too. I like that.
Yeah. Well,
Which is actually the Superman's big problem is he fails so seldom.
Yeah. It is definitely refreshing in this story. Yeah.
All right, so now here's...
Because usually when he fails at something, it's a big foolie.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or it's like, oh, well, Kryptonite was around.
Yeah.
But this
it's
is...
an imaginary story.
Right.
I love those.
But this is definitely different. I won't spoil it, so go ahead.
So here's you find out about a flying wasp-looking thing. It looks like one of those creatures on the old Merry Melodies cartoons.
Yeah, it's like a giant mosquito with a big spear nose, and it totally looks very cartoony. But yeah, it's going to attack a plane, and so it cuts it in half with its nose, and Superman welds it back with his heat vision, and then he fights the thing. It pokes a hole in his cape, which is supposed to be indestructible, yo.
Mm-hmm.
And it flies away. It beats Superman.
Yep. So then the next day...
At the Daily Planet.
Yeah, there's a big spider web that's square.
Yeah, and the spider is huge. It also looks like a Merry Melodies spider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's from outer space, maybe.
Yeah. Yes. So, Spider-Man...
Superman.
Sorry. Okay. That's what we call a Freudian slip. Superman tries to break the net, or the web, and he can't not do it. And he gets stuck into it.
His heat vision nor his strength will break it.
He gets attacked by the spider, and then the wasp comes, who's about to attack him, but he uses the wasp.
Is it a wasp or a mosquito?
Oh.
I thought it was a mosquito. That's why it had the pointy nose.
A winged horror with a swordfish.
Okay, it's just some big bug. Never mind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The wasp and the spider fight, and Superman is able to escape.
Yeah.
And then here comes a bunch of bugs. They're yellow and green. The captains are yellow, the troops are green, and they're eating the city alive.
Yeah. And Superman can't do anything to stop them.
I'll easily round them up and put them where they can't harm anybody. So they grab onto him, so he says, well, I'll go and fly into the sun, and it doesn't do anything.
Yeah. So how is Superman going to solve this problem?
I don't know.
Then he goes flies through an asteroid field to try and shake him off. No good.
And then at nighttime, the sun goes down and they fall asleep. Yay! He goes to the Fortress of Solitude, and then he watches TV. He's watching what the land armies are doing against him. Of course, they're not doing well either.
Right. Well, I mean, if Superman can't do anything against them.
An H-bomb fails to stop their advance.
Whoa, that's crazy. Like, I'm just thinking about the ecological damage that this is doing.
Right. The monsters and the fight against the monsters are pretty bad.
Yeah.
So then they said, the army, which is a logical thing, thinks they might be from Krypton, so they use kryptonite, and it doesn't work. And then Superman says, this is the only thing I cannot do myself.
Yeah.
It's kryptonite would kill him. So he tries to Phantom Zone them, and it doesn't work.
That's weird how the Phantom Zone projector wouldn't work on them. Why? I mean...
It works on Kryptonians and everything else. Maybe it's a Kryptonian thing.
No, that doesn't really make any sense, though. Why would it just work on Kryptonians? And Mon-El got put in the Phantom Zone. He's not from Krypton. He's from Daxam. So that can't be it.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know how. In comics and movies, they have to show people looking for something, they find it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to do that because looking for stuff takes hours and days and all this stuff.
You can do a montage panel,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think those are kind of fun. But yeah.
But he just, look at this alien space probe. I wonder if the monsters came from that.
Gee, you think?
Yeah. Although,
what a coincidence it had nothing to do with it.
right. Oh, in DC world of Superman of this in the 50s, yeah, it could be totally unrelated. Like weird things happen.
That's true.
So he goes in there, and his ship sails off, and he goes to another planet that's a supersized red sun. Now he'll lose all his superpowers.
Yeah.
Um,
And so he meets the aliens who run this place.
yeah,
And they're an alien death cult.
yeah, hail to death. Now, who
Okay.
hasn't said that? Right?
Yeah, their whole bag is what happened? Did everyone in their race die but a handful of them? Is that it?
Yeah.
And then they decide, well, now we're going to destroy 100 planets because reasons.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. We're so mad when the destroyer had another 100 planets. I have never. Yeah, this is.
Why don't you just move to another planet and start life over?
Why don't you take over a planet and like regular aliens do?
Why? Like you gain nothing from this destruction. It's weird.
Yeah, it's about the only thing I don't like about this. Although
Okay.
I think this is a great concept. Something that Superman cannot fight at all.
Yeah.
And he never does.
Yeah. So anyway,
And
he
he
used
does-
these. They use these monsters to destroy worlds.
Yeah, and we could have done, I don't know, 20 issues on this, and it'd be kind of cool.
It'd be an interesting series. Yeah.
Yeah. But the reason for it is stupid.
Which
I mean,
is
they couldn't. Probably someone's at 3:00. Oh, gotta think of a reason for this for the bugs. Aliens. Blah blah blah.
okay.
And that's what it is. It feels forced. And
Okay.
oh well. So I said, Earth is our 100th planet, so we're going to destroy ourselves. Yay! And so
They're
Superman,
going to destroy themselves.
yes,
Oh.
they're going to blow up their own planet.
I
Where
thought
they got these super creatures.
Oh, okay.
So, and they got a final ceremony in honor of death.
Wow.
So, Superman blasts off. The planet blows up right behind him, and he gets caught up in the debris, and they follow the spaceship back to Earth.
Yeah.
And
Oh, because those are chunks of the planet. They become something like kryptonite, and they are what can kill the
they are
monsters.
giantite.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so everything's cool. So he fixes his cape, but he makes a copy of it to show what happened this day, and the end.
I love how Superman keeps all this crap in the Fortress of Solitude. Like, here's one time my cape got ripped.
Although this is pretty serious, and there's
Yeah.
one thing up in the trophy room, and I guess it makes sense. Keeping trophy rooms, I don't know. I think it's mainly to have something to talk about in the comics, maybe.
Yeah.
And it gives them a hobby, makes them more human.
Yeah, and I think it even if you can't read all the issues, it lets you know there is a lot of history, and like it's been a lot. Superman's done a lot of great stuff.
Yeah.
You
And,
know.
little boys and girls have trophies,
Sure.
So and there's connection to Superman. So I enjoy them. It is silly.
Yeah.
But it's fun. And so, yay, Superman.
Yeah. So the next story we're going to talk about, it's Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
It's called The Leap Year Menace, and this originally appeared in Green Lantern number 3, cover dated November and December of 1960. Written by John Broome, penciled by Gil Kane, and inked by Joe Giella.
Okay. We have a really cool-looking green DC monster.
Yeah, I like the
And-
splash panel. I like Gil Kane monsters.
Mm-hmm. Green Lantern is going after a monster that's killing everybody, but Green Lantern created it. So
Yeah. What?
gives?
Well, we'll find out
Yes. Well,
when you
the
read
page.
Dianetics. Oh, wait.
Those commercials are great, and they
Oh.
spend a lot of money on them. But
No, it's
yeah.
crazy.
Oh yeah.
Just like
Mhm.
this story.
Yes. All right. So Green Lantern's at a community chess drive. I have never seen community chess outside a Monopoly game board.
Or maybe the Batman TV show.
Maybe I don't know.
I'm
if I
pretty sure Batman went to a ribbon cutting ceremony or two for stupid crap like
Yeah.
that.
I guess it did exist, but I never heard of it.
I think they call it something different now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a charity for like
Mhm.
people whose lives are crappy or
Or maybe
whatever.
they changed the name because of Monopoly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe we've done away with entitlements and we don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah. He's talking to the person in charge of community chess, and here comes his teenage fan group, and a bunch of pretty teenage girls, and they just tear, one grabs one arm, the other grabs, and they're trying to pull them apart and marry him and all this. So,
And they want to.
yeah. It's kind of, it's very Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra and
Yeah.
Beatlemania. So
I think they're trying to figure out, because this is early in the series, they're really trying to figure out what kind of flavor they want to give Green Lantern. Like, is he going to be like this teen idol thing is kind of weird, but
yeah. Although it would be obvious, it probably would be.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, most of the superheroes are rather handsome or pretty, so
Yeah.
there's going to be fan clubs.
I
or
think it'd be
something.
hilarious if, like, what if Superman was this, like, doofy looking, like,
The ugly Superman.
yeah, they've done that story,
Yeah.
but, like, yeah, what if he wasn't, like, some great looking guy?
Yeah.
He was just some schlubby, like, bleh looking guy, but he had these powers, and he was still the noble guy that Superman is.
Yeah.
I don't know, it'd be weird.
He wouldn't. Well, the comic would not be as popular, I don't think. But although the Thing, the Hulk, both are not handsome, although they're cool looking, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think of an ugly superhero.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. I mean, other than if they're like a flat out monster, they never have them be like a plain looking guy.
Yeah. Oh, you'd like to be a superhero, but you don't be ugly superhero.
Well, right, and the whole thing is it's idealized
Mm-hmm.
everything. So, but anyway, the story.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So Hal Jordan is a test pilot at Ferris Airlines, and
secret. He's Green Lantern.
and anyway, his boss Carol Ferris, he loves Carol, but he wants
Her to like Hal Jordan, not.
and she's into Green Lantern.
Yeah, and
It's like,
Superman
gee,
has
what-
the same problem. And it doesn't matter. You are a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
What do you care?
Yeah.
Same thing with Superman. It's sort of you're Superman and Clark Kent, and why not?
Well, Superman's problem is like, oh, I don't think I could be with them because I have all these responsibilities as Superman. But Hal is like, he really likes chasing the gals, and so like, to me, Green Lantern is like, I don't know why he keeps his secret from Carol. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
But I gotta do something. So like,
Yeah. So they're going to go to a charity drive, and it's going to be leap year. And I didn't know this. I had to look it up. On leap years, women can ask men to marry. And
newsflash: women could do that any old time anyway.
Yeah, but we're talking about traditional.
I know.
And it's an Irish tradition. And if if the man said no, he would pay you a fine. I mean, it's kind of like a box of roses, something
Sure.
nominal. So, so I had no idea. So that's kind of cool.
Okay,
Although,
so she tells Hal she's gonna ask Green Lantern to marry her.
yeah, she tells the exact wrong person.
Yeah, I love the look on his face when she tells him.
Yeah. So, how do I get out of this? He asked.
Yeah. So anyway, he's got to go, and he charges up the ring and does the oath because he's got to go to the community chess drive.
Yeah. And so he
goes there, and it starts to rain, and so he creates a big umbrella with the
Yeah.
Green Lantern energy.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah. But then it like stops raining after a few minutes.
Yeah.
And then it's a beautiful day.
And then here comes Carol
Ferris,
Ferris.
not Danvers.
God. Oh,
Carol
wow.
Danvers wouldn't be introduced as a character until for another 8 years over at Marvel Comics.
Wow.
And then it'd be a few years still before she became Ms. Marvel.
Mm.
So.
All right. Well, I like this. From that determined look in her eyes, I can see she means business. Okay. Oh, we have
Oh, cool house ad with the Treasury edition of the Superman versus Amazing Spider-Man, which is a really fun comic.
yeah, it is, and I love the cover. Is great.
Oh yeah, it's great.
They're on top of the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
About to kick each other's butt. Which is always when with DC Marvel, they always start fighting. Oh, we're fighting the wrong people.
Well,
and it never gets old to me. I like it.
Me either. And it's not even just Marvel versus DC. It's always Marvel heroes. Whenever they meet for the first time, it's you must be a bad guy.
Yeah, you're wearing spandex. So.
Yeah.
All right, so they give a speech. Green Lantern does, and he's there as Green Lantern, and then his fan club shows up, and he's really embarrassed. I'll face anything but those girls.
Yeah.
So he goes.
He goes and talks with Carol.
Yeah, and he uses some lame. Oh, these kids are too noisy. So he's trying to delay her from not saying anything. And these kids are playing with model airplanes, the ones that fly, and they're too noisy. And then he said, "Oh, I know what I'll do.
I'll dream up a monster that I'll have to quote, air quotes go fight.
Yeah,
and then Carol won't be able to ask me to marry me.
Mm-hmm.
So he creates this monster,
and then he gets hit by a model airplane, which don't weigh that much. I think they half a pound or something like that." I don't. For a superhero to be knocked out by a model airplane, I mean,
a remote control one weighs more than half a pound.
Maybe so. Maybe a pound. But
I knew a story of a guy. I met this guy. He got hit with one, and the propeller, it crashed, and the propeller hit him square in the cheek, and it scarred up his cheek.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess they are. But he's Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So you would think that he'd be better. So Green Lantern is knocked out, and Carol doesn't call an ambulance. She calls a taxi cab, which I guess they don't have taxi cabs here.
I don't know. But anyway, so the monster that he created runs amok.
Yeah.
Also, though, if he's unconscious, shouldn't a thing he made up just poof disappear because he's not thinking about it anymore?
Yeah, you would think.
But then we don't have a story. So irresponsible Hal has created this monster that really doesn't do much. It just wanders around.
And thinks to himself,
yeah.
This place is full of odd-looking creatures. How ironic, because he's odd-looking to us.
Yeah.
So the army goes after him and fights him, and the guy, one of the things he does is accidentally knocks down a statue, which would tick me off, but it's not like killing millions of people.
I think the thing is they don't want to have him it be vicious, so it doesn't seem like, look at this horrible thing Green Lantern did.
Yeah.
It's all stuff that he can go back and fix later.
Yeah. That's a lot of dang money and time and effort trying to fix this problem Green Lantern made.
Right.
And Green Lantern
he can use his powers to fix them later, though.
Green Lantern's okay at the hospital, and then he finds out, because they had the TV on the radio. Yeah. Oh, there's a monster out. Oh, that's me. Oh, I won't tell anybody. So he goes out and zaps a monster. Yay. So he comes back, talks to the military, says, "Oh, I'll fix that, okay." And then Carol pops the question, and then a bunch of the fangirls come up and pops the question as well. And he says, "Well, I can't marry all of you, so I'll marry none of you." And he flies off. Case closed.
Yeah, he could have said no in the first place.
Yeah.
And actually, if he wanted so bad for Carol to want Hal, not Green Lantern, as Green Lantern, he could have said no.
Yeah.
What?
Yes. Or say, "Why don't you go after that Hal Jordan guy? He's kind of neat."
Yeah.
But it was fun though.
Yeah. I always think there's a super menace, and then the hero is incapacitated. Why doesn't Superman show up and take care of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they don't want it. It's about Green Lantern. They don't want to be and somebody else solved the problem, and Green Lantern was totally lame.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Although,
But I would love to read comic stories that are like that. Oh man, and then like the end is like him just like looking all butthurt.
I actually or a sad trombone.
Yeah. Oh, I love that too. Wah, 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 wah. That one.
Yeah, I just like saying sad trombone. That's one of the great little internet memes going on.
Man.
Cue sad trombone. Yeah, but I think it would be nice if there's a bunch of in the old DC Silver Age, if Superman, hey, how's it going? How and back and forth, and there's more.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you'll almost never see Superman in another DC book at this time, except for the Justice League, except for World's Finest.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, Mort Weisinger kept a really tight, grip on keeping Superman just in his books that he edited.
I don't know. I would have done that. Somebody says, "Oh, Superman's in Green Lantern. I never read a Green Lantern. Maybe I'll read this."
Yeah, but he doesn't care about. That's a Julie Schwartz book. Mort Weisinger doesn't care about that.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's got. I mean, granted, he had like 6 or 7 titles that he edited with Superman in it, appearing regularly. But office politics.
Right. Oh well. But all right, that's cool.
Okay. So we're going to take a quick promotional break, and when we come back, we'll have more fun comic book stories from the rest of this issue.
I'm Mike Gillis.
And I'm Casey Dorn, and we want to ask you an important question.
Are you sick and tired of other panel discussion shows wasting your time droning on and on about foreign policy, economics, and human rights?
Or do you want to hear conversations about things that actually matter?
We host a podcast called Radio versus the Martians. Every month we gather a panel of our nation's finest minds and plunge a rusty prison shank into the heart of tough questions that have an impact on the lives of real people like you.
Like, are drivers required to pull over for the Ghostbusters?
Is the United Federation of Planets actually an oppressive dictatorship run by guidance counselors?
Is Arnold Schwarzenegger secretly a genius?
And are we being mean when we laugh at movies that are so bad they're good?
So write your congressman and let them know that Radio vs. the Martians is available on iTunes, Stitcher, and on radioversusthemartians.com.
Warlord Worlds, a fan podcast devoted to the comic creations of Mike Grell, including Warlord, John Sable, Starslayer, Shaman's Tears, and Green Arrow. I'm Darren.
And I'm Ruth. We hope you'll join us as we discuss the stories, characters, and art in the many excellent comics from writer and artist Mike Grell.
Warlord Worlds is available at podbean.com and on iTunes and Stitcher.
Find us at warlordworlds.com.
And we're back. So, the next story we're going to talk about is called The Big House of Monsters. And this is part of DC's ongoing The War That Time Forgot series that they had going on, of like stories that had World War II and Dinosaur Island.
Yeah.
So, yay! Yeah, this originally appeared in Star Spangled War Stories number 132, which was from April and May of 1967. And this story was written by Robert Kanigher, with art by Russ Heath, the Wally Wood of war comics.
It's very well drawn. And dinosaurs look good too.
Yeah.
They're not accurate to our standards, but they're pretty well done.
They're rad for comics. So, remember that Russ Manning Tarzan we did where he had the T-Rex?
Yeah.
They thought that was rad.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is comparable to that.
Right. Okay. So, splash panel, a huge T-Rex is eating 2 soldiers' inflatable raft. They're really ticked off about it.
And they're shooting at him.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
All right, so we come, let's see, a young ex-cop is has been captured by the Japanese, is in a Japanese war camp, prisoner war camp. And then he sees this guy, Nick Tardy, that's probably, with a name like that, that's probably why he went bad.
Yeah, it's not a good name.
You know, he would not have had a good time in middle school.
No.
So he sees Nick Tardy's, and I didn't expect to see him here. So then Nick Tardy sees Jackie Blaine, the ex-cop, and says, wow, that was a young cop who was taking me to the big house when the train jumped the track.
And so we get a flashback to what the heck they're even talking about.
Right. And the bad guy's smoking a cigarette, the good guy's smoking a pipe. I don't know. But Jackie's telling Nick that you're lucky you're not, you're set for life, not the chair. And Nick, I'm not going to end up in the big house. And then train wrecks.
Which is something that he had set up.
It sounds like that, yeah. I don't think they actually say it, but it's a mighty coinkydink.
No, it did get explained, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on, please.
All right. He puts money in Jackie's coat. Jackie's knocked out, and Nick puts money in there like he took a bribe.
Oh,
which was
very
really,
smart.
yeah, and really, really mean. Actually, it's not smart, just mean. Because
If you're on the lam, won't you need that money more than you need to put the finger on somebody else?
yeah.
Yeah.
So Jackie's
So,
blamed, and
investigated by Internal Affairs.
and his promotion's out.
Oh man.
Yeah. So Jackie swears that he'll find Nick.
And so then World War II happens.
Yeah. So he figures Nick will join the army, and
Under an assumed name and
yeah.
get
So
lost.
he's gonna go. So all he has to do is look through 8,267,958 soldiers
Because that's how many enlisted men there were in WW.
in the army.
Just the army.
Yeah. I could have joined a navy.
Yeah.
And it's absurd.
I would join, if I had to, I would have joined the Navy. I'm like, you have the least chance of getting your head blown off in
Or
that.
Coast Guard.
Yeah.
And or be a mechanic in the Air Force.
Yeah. I have no interest in, glorious, battle, death, any of that crap. I'm like, nope.
Oh no. Okay.
But you joined the military, and I was like, no, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, but then the real problem is there's two theaters of war.
Yeah.
The Pacific and the European.
Yeah.
Plus a lot of little bitty places we went to as well. So
Yeah.
it's absurd that he could find them, but he gets captured, and luckily he finds them.
They're in the South Pacific.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he kills a bunch of Japs, but it's not good enough, so he gets captured.
Yeah.
Everything looks really, really well. It's really well drawn. So
Russ Heath is a master. He's great.
So the two guys talk, and Nick and Jamie talk, and
Is it Jamie or Jackie?
Jackie, sorry. Okay. And Jackie still wants to bring him in, and Nick says that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
But there's a riot, and they escape, and they kill a bunch more Japanese soldiers, and they get on the boat, and they go to someplace with huge monsters.
Yeah. Yeah. First they get attacked by a big old lobster.
Lobster, crab. I
Yeah.
think you're right, lobster.
Yeah, man, it looks dope.
Yeah. I don't know if they got. Well, the dinosaurs in here are larger than they were in real life, I think. But
No, that's comics though.
yeah.
Oh well, it's cool looking,
Mm-hmm.
which is the most important thing.
So,
It's just I love this panel where Nick gets grabbed in the crab claw, and Jackie uses the machine gun on it.
mm-hmm.
It's
And
rad.
then Nick goes into the water, and Jackie grabs him by the hair and pulls him out.
Yeah.
It's good. And then Nick said, "What a sucker play you pulled, saving my skin," and he bashes Jamie in the Jackie in the jaw.
Why would you punch somebody out who just saved your life?
Because
What
he's
a
a
dick.
scumbag. Yeah.
Yeah. So they land on the island,
Yeah.
and they're immediately hit a beset with this brontosaurus
Yeah,
who
a
looks.
meat-eating brontosaurus, which is even worse than a regular brontosaurus.
Yeah, it looks awesome though.
Yeah, it does. So they use Tommy guns, and I don't know how they got the Tommy guns from the Japanese. Well, I guess the Japanese captured Tommy guns from the Americans, so they got it back. So then they throw grenades, and that's all she wrote.
I don't know where they even. Yeah, like where are they getting all these grenades?
When they broke out of the prisoner of war camp, they stole a bunch of
Oh, okay.
weapons, and so they're checking out.
Oh, they're
The
fighting
island.
with each other over the time, all the time.
I know, for crying out loud, have a truce, duh.
Yeah.
Although this is something in a lot of. There's a Lee Marvin movie with Mifune.
I don't know the reference.
One of the greatest Japanese actors of all time, Toshio Mifune, something like that. So, and it's exactly where the movie that you were talking about earlier with the Enemy Mine is from.
Oh, I love that. Before we did the show, I was talking about the movie Enemy Mine, Dennis
Mhm.
Quaid and
Yeah.
Louis Gossett Jr. I love that movie.
Yeah.
So it's that same concept.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. I would probably like it then.
Really well done. Yeah. It's got Lee Marvin in it. I'll watch Lee Marvin reading the phone books.
I like Lee Marvin.
So
Then there's a big snake,
Yeah.
and they fight and kill that.
Yeah.
Drop a grenade right down its throat.
Yeah. That's
Very
pretty
satisfying.
nice. So they decide,
Upset stomach, diarrhea.
Yeah.
Hey, Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah.
Oh.
so they make a bargain, help each other, and Nick reneges in the bargain.
Like immediately.
Yeah. Wow.
And there's some dinosaurs fighting.
Yeah. A Patasaurus and no.
That's a
that was-
Stegosaurus and like an Allosaur.
Right. And that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then they another monster attacks them, and they're fighting it off. Then they go across the stream, and it gets up, and it's another dinosaur.
Yeah, they walk across what they think is a line of pebbles, but it's a dinosaur in the water.
Yeah,
That's so Popeye cartoon.
yeah. Mhm.
Oh well.
Although people have stepped on crocodiles and alligators because they look like logs.
It's like, oh crap. Yeah.
That would. Oh, I would not like that.
Yeah.
But
And then they fight a Styracosaurus.
oh, okay. And
I think it is. Yeah.
yeah. And then they escape. I said, "Well, you're not taking me back to no big house."
Yeah.
Nick says.
And so he gets grabbed by a big octopus. Oh no, Jackie does. And so he dies.
Yeah.
And then Nick goes back to the dinosaur island, and he gets surrounded by dinosaurs. And of course, he dies too.
No, he doesn't die yet.
But it's
He
presumed
says-
that he will die.
But he says, I'm not. He's been saying all the time, I'm not going to the big house, but now he realizes he's in the big house of monsters,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
I like the house ad.
Yeah, great hat for all the DC war books of the time. There's Our Army at War with Sergeant Rock, GI Combat featuring the Haunted Tank. What's the book that has the losers? I can't read that print.
Our fighting forces.
Yeah. Weird War Tales and
Star Spangled War, is that it?
yeah, with the Unknown Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Yeah.
I do like DC's war books.
Rather interesting article. What were the dinosaurs?
They were animals,
Yeah.
not monsters. But yeah, there was a 2-pager on there about that.
Mhm.
And we come to our final story of this issue, which is wonderful. It's The Marvel Family Reaches Eternity. And this was originally from The Marvel Family number 7 from December of 1946. This is a Golden Age classic written by Otto Binder with art by Pete Costanza.
Mm-hmm.
Otto Binder opened and closed this issue with the stories.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I love how he's really one of the architects of not only the Superman mythology, but the Captain Marvel one as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
And he has got a name that could be in comic books. You know,
Yeah.
he could be a comic book character with that name.
yeah,
That's a great name. All right.
he actually appears in Shazam number 1 in 1972 or 3
Oh,
when they revived him at DC.
was he still living at that time?
He was.
Oh, cool. That's nice.
Yeah.
I like it when they do that. It's never that exciting, but it's sweet.
Yeah.
So little Billy Batson is in the bookstore, and some scumbag comes up. What would you pay for this old book, huh? and Billy said, "My eyes must be deceiving me. It's the ancient book of Shazam." So he says Shazam, and turns into Captain Marvel and beats the crap out of him.
Yeah. I love it. I love Captain Marvel so much. We don't talk about him that much on this show, but
Yeah, I do like him too. It's fun stuff.
yeah.
So he figures out, since that book goes beside the throne of the ancient throne of the old wise old wizard. So
Yeah.
So he meets up with his friends. We're going to go see movies. Now we got to go visit the wise old wizard. So okay,
Yeah,
let's
so
go.
it's his sister Mary and their friend Freddie Freeman, who are Mary Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So they go down to the old subway tunnel and visit Shazam's throne, and he's not there. They light the brazier, and his spirit doesn't come.
Mm-hmm.
And so they open the book, and they were like, "Oh, we got to go to the Rock of Eternity," which they've never visited before. So this is a first.
Yeah. What a coincidence! They opened the book to the right page, and or maybe this is another instance of them searching, but they don't tell us they've been searching for hours. So.
Yeah. So they say the magic words,
Mhm.
and they become their superheroic alter egos, and they travel like at faster than the speed of light to reach the Rock of Eternity.
Yeah, I would never change back if I was Captain Marvel.
I don't know if I would either.
Yeah, it's a sort of. It's not like Superman. Superman is still Superman. He's just pretending to be somebody.
Yeah, but if you could change into like this super powerful body, why would you ever want to go back?
Yeah, and to be the newspaper boy, huh? So
Yeah.
I'm not. Oh well, that's just me.
Sure.
So they go off and they say, "Oh, how are we going to get there? We got to go to the speed of light." So,
Okay. So when they do, Shazam is there at the Rock of Eternity.
yeah, but we get a flashback. Looks like.
Oh yeah.
And he's
Shazam.
Shazam. He makes sure that the Pandora's box is still safely locked up. And then he says, "Oh, it's evil himself trying to escape from his lair." So he comes out and he turns himself into three evils.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go to Rock Eternity or whatever, and they taunt him.
Yeah. They taunt Shazam.
Yeah, Shazam, foul fiend, that you escape from here, the whole universe will suffer. That's not something you say to somebody evil,
Like
Yeah.
that's kind of a motivator. Like, oh, cool, we'll make the whole universe suffer.
Mhm.
Thanks for the heads up, Big Ben.
Yeah. So he tries to fight him, but it doesn't work. So they steal Pandora's box, and here comes the Marvel family.
Yeah.
So there's three forms of evil: sin, terror, and wickedness. Terror is like, it's not. If someone's terrified of spiders, it's not a sin to be afraid of something.
Okay. Sin, terror, and wickedness. So that is one of the forms of evil. It is weird to say that terror is
Mhm.
evil, but like maybe to instill terror in someone is evil.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess that's what they meant. So, I just thought it was kind of odd. So let's see. They fight, and it's pretty cool. All three of them punch the evil guy at one time.
Yeah.
And it's pretty. So then they split up into their evils, three evils, and they escape.
Throughout the universe, and so Mary, Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel Jr. Fly off in three directions to fight them separately.
Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty cool fight.
Then we see Captain Marvel catches up with the first evil.
Yeah, and the monster makes Captain Marvel go into lava, and he's no, nothing mortal can go into the lava and survive. And he turns his back, and Captain Marvel, here I am, and bops him in the head from behind. Okay.
That's fun.
Captain Marvel Jr. is chasing him, and the bad guy runs him into a asteroid.
Yeah. and breaks the asteroid.
Yeah, and then knocks him out. Yay.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the evils, one of them has the chest that's like Pandora's box.
Right.
Oh, yeah, because that's to imprison them in or something like that.
Right. Oh, they're going to use it to make evil, even more evilly.
Okay.
So, this guy, is Mary Marvel, is going after him. He opens Pandora's box, and his hornet comes out. So he's explaining this out loud.
Of course. We need the exposition.
Most people would say "ow," but the hornet will bring trouble and make you say "Shazam."
And so she turns back into Mary Batson, and then he covers her mouth so she can't turn back into Mary Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
So he ties her up and then tells her the rest of his evil plan.
Yeah, and she's the only one had any trouble, but she gets out of it herself because the hornet is biting Evo dude, and so she's able to escape and turns into Mary Marvel again, and
By saying Shazam.
and
then punches him out.
yeah,
And so they all go back to the Rock of Eternity and meet up with Shazam.
mm-hmm.
And he imprisons them back under the rock. And they ask him, like, well, wait, won't they just, because they knocked it over and escaped before, won't they do it again? And he's like, no, it will take them centuries to gather enough strength to do so again. So everything's fine.
Yeah, and he writes it down on the rock. So, I think it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
It is definitely lower education level here. You know,
The reading level.
yeah.
No, it's definitely written for a younger audience,
Mhm.
and also like it's just so much more whimsical and cartoony.
Yeah.
Like most superhero comics, even then, are like, we were playing this straight, even though it's like we got these cats in the long underwear.
Right.
And the Marvel family stuff is like, well, we can be goofy and like
Mm-hmm.
it can totally feel like you're watching a Popeye or a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Right.
With
Very good.
cartoony type of violence,
Mm-hmm.
but that's okay.
Yeah, that's
And
fun.
I love the cosmology around the Marvel family.
Mm-hmm.
It is just wonderful.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah,
And that's a nice. This was cool.
yeah,
I
that was
enjoyed
our
the monsters.
la-
Mhm.
Yeah, do you like all these stories?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're very different. Every single one of them is, the war thing and the Marvel is way different, and from other Green Lantern and Superman were somewhat similar,
Sure.
but the other two were vastly different.
Yeah, and I like that. I think editorially, like let's do a book full of all monster stories, but let's do something kind of wildly, a lot of variance in there.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I think this was a really fun comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's it for this episode. Comic Reflections is recorded in Portland, Oregon, and produced by Sean Roof. Until next time.
We'll see you in the funny pages.
Trekker Talk, a fan podcast devoted to the adventures of 23rd century bounty hunter Mercy St. Clair from the pages of Trekker Comics by creator, writer, and artist Ron Randall. I'm Darren.
And I'm Ruth. We'll be discussing the stories, characters, and art in this excellent retro sci-fi adventure series, as well as having side conversations about other areas of fandom.
We hope you'll join us as we travel from the dangerous back streets of New Guelph to the depths of outer space and everywhere in between.
Trekker Talk is available at podbean.com and on iTunes and Stitcher.
Find us at trekkertalk.com.
Star Wars, give me those Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars, don't let them end. Star Wars, those near and far wars, talking about Star Wars on a podcast. I'm Ryan Daly, and welcome to...
And I'm the Irredeemable Shag. Dude, what are you doing?
What?
Give Me Those Star Wars is my show.
Well, you're part of the Fire and Water Podcast Network, so it's really our show.
But if you show up on the promo, people will think you're the co-host.
I'm not?
No, the show will have rotating guests.
You just took that idea from my Justice League International podcast.
You took that idea from my Secret Origins podcast.
And you took that idea from Dead Bothan Spies.
That was my podcast.
Wait a minute. I sang the theme song with you.
So?
So, technically, I appear on every episode. I'm part of the foundation of this new Star Wars show.
That's true.
So, you want to take this from the top, or what?
I'm Ryan Daly. Join me and a galaxy of guest stars on Give Me Those... including the irredeemable Shag, whose voice you will technically hear on every episode, on Give Me Those Star Wars.
The official Star Wars show of the Fire and Water Podcast Network.
Available on iTunes and Stitcher and at fireandwaterpodcast.com.